Welcome back to part 2 of Module 7, Lesson 1, where we're learning to solve one-step addition and subtraction inequalities. We're starting off this one with example 2, where we're going to wallow into the world of rational numbers, in this case decimals, and find out that, you know what, they work the same way as the whole numbers do. We want to solve 0 and 4/10 plus y is less than or equal to a negative 9 and 6/10. Check our solution and then graph it on a number line. So let's get started on that. Of course, we treat these just like we do equations. And treating them like equations, that means that we're going to isolate the variable. In isolating the variable, we want to take away the variable's friend. Who is the variable's friend? The variable's friend is right here. It's 4/10. What is 4/10 doing to our variable y? It's adding. But it's not adding because of this plus sign. It's adding because there's an invisible plus sign in front of it. So how do I make plus 4/10 go away? Well, that's easy. I do it by subtracting 4/10 on both sides. On the left, they're just going to zero out, leaving y. And on the right, we now have signs are the same. Find the sum. So on the left-hand side, all we're going to have left is, well, it doesn't want to actually activate things here. I wonder what's going on. Hold on. Well, I couldn't get the website to work, so we're just going to work it right here. We're going to start off by saying that the 0.4s are going to zero each other out, just like that. I'm left with a y on the left-hand side. The sign stays just like it was. On the right-hand side, I've got signs are the same. Find the sum, which is going to be 10.0, also known as 10, with the sign in front of your larger number going in front of your answer. So y is going to be less than or equal to 10. Next, we get to graph that on our number lines. We're going to come down to our number line. It's going to be a negative 10 right here. So I'm going to take, and was it an or equal to? It is an or equal to. That means we have to use a solid circle. We also know that it is going to be smaller than the negative 10. So we're going to start at negative 10 right here. We're going to drag our arrow to the left, and we're going to hit check it. And the answer is going to check correct. That's all there is to doing these things. Now you take a minute and solve this rational numbers problem. Remember, when working with fractions, 1, we do it horizontally, we don't do it up and down, and 2, when adding and subtracting fractions, you have to find the least common denominator first. To work the problem, we're going to undo addition and subtraction. In doing that, we need to recognize what's going on in our problem. Our variable is a, his friend is 3/4. 3/4 is adding itself to a, and we make plus 3/4 go away by subtracting 3/4 on both sides. So I'm going to have a plus 3/4 minus 3/4 is greater than 3 minus 3/4. And this 3 here, I'm going to go ahead and change it to an improper fraction because it's going to need to be 1. Now I'm going to just put a line through those. They're gone. I'm going to find my least common denominator, which is going to be 12. So I'm going to have 1 goes into 4. I'm not 12, it's going to be 4. 1 goes into 4 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12. That's where that 12 was floating through my head from. And then this one is going to stay 3/4. Next, 9 minus 3. 12 minus 3 is equal to 9/4. And that, of course, is going to be equal to 2 and 1/4. So our final answer says that a is going to be greater than 2 and 1/4. I'm going to jump back over to the textbook. We're going to say it's greater than. What's it greater than here? It's greater than 2 fraction 1/4, except and check. And that part checked. To graph it, we're going to have to find, first off, is it an or equal to? No, it's not. So it's going to be an open circle starting at 2 and 1/4, which is right here. And the arrow is going to go to the right because a is greater than it. So I'm going to set my open circle, click on 2 and 1/4. I'm going to drag it to the end there. It worked that time as well. And check our answer. The answer is correct. That's all there is to doing these things. But what if the problem was written backwards, like this one, where I have negative 6 is greater than or equal to n minus 5? you're going to work it the same exact way. You're going to treat it like it was an equation, more or less. You're going to ask yourself, what's my variable? The variable's n. Who's my friend? The friend is 5. And what is 5 doing to n? It's subtracting. So how do I undo minus 5? Well, we're going to just take and add 5 to both sides, and you can see that taking place here and here. These 5s on the right, they're going to zero each other out. Put a line through them, and on the left-hand side, let's see, on the right, we're going to be left with an n. On the left-hand side, signs are different. Find the difference with a sign from the larger number going in front of your answer. So now we have that part. We know that -1 is going to be greater than or equal to n, which means n is going to be smaller than or equal to -1. From here, they didn't even ask us to graph it. Man, well, maybe not. Maybe we still get to graph it here. Now we get to graph our solution. There we go. So we're looking at n is less than or equal to 1, also known as -1 is greater than or equal to n. So we're going to take and do a solid circle since it's an or equal to. We're starting at -1 and n is less than or equal to it. Check our answer, and the answer is correct. That's all there is to do in these problems. Now once again, it's your turn, and this time it is a humdinger of a problem involving mixed numbers, but hey, at least I gave you a common denominator. 3 1/5 is greater than f minus 4/5. Stop the video, work on the problem, check your answer. Alright, the final goal of inequality is to isolate the variable. The variable is f, and f's friend, that's going to be a -4/5. How do I make a -4/5 go away? I do it by adding 4/5 on both sides, and in doing that, we're going to do this one horizontally because it's got fractions in it. So 3 1/5, oh sorry, that should be a fifth there, not a fourth. 3 1/5 plus 4/5, I did it again, is greater than f minus 4/5 plus 4/5. Those just zeroed out, leaving f right here. On this side, 3 1/5 plus 4/5, so 1 plus 4/5 is going to give us 3 5/5, otherwise known as 4 is greater than f. From there, we're going to jump back over here to our textbook, and they wanted it flipped it around. So if 4 was greater than f, that means that f is going to be less than 4. Check it, that checks, and now we need to graph it. It's going to be an open circle because it's not an or equal to, starting at 4 and going all the way to the left, and check that, and that checked as well. Easy math, anybody can do this stuff. Now it's going to be your turn to log into your textbook, start doing your homework assignment. Shouldn't be too hard to do tonight, really shouldn't. If you have any questions, come see me in class tomorrow and we'll talk about them then. Have a good night.